Another victory for the military in Kaduna and Niger states. Terrorists sent to the grave, arms and ammunition recovered. We are in charge, military assures Nigerians. Plus, countdown to 2023 polls comes with counting of the figures for political parties. Campaigns to sway supporters intensify. This is just a teaser on Panorama today as we set to launch the week for you on a sound footing. I'm Ray John. Welcome. And just before we hit the road, it's good you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and other social media platforms displayed on your screen. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari says he's fully in support of the decision by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign and launch new Naira notes, stating that the nation will gain a lot from the policy decision. Speaking exclusively to Tambari Television in Hausa, President Buhari described as convincing reasons given by the CBN that the economy stands to benefit from reduction in inflation, currency counterfeiting, and the excess cash in circulation. He said he did not consider the period of 3 months for the change to the new Naira notes as being short. The president emphasized that only people with illicit money buried under the soil will have a challenge with this, but workers, businesses with legitimate incomes will face no difficulties at all.
Shi gwamnan bankin tarayya ya sanar da ni da zai wannan canji, ya sanar da ni yadda ya tsara, kuma in kamar kai yanzu saboda Allah aka ce daga yanzu zuwa Disamba, kaga a lokacin da ya gaya mun wato Oktoba, Nuwamba, Disamba wata uku, ni ban san ko nawa kake kokarin kashewa ba a cikin albashinka, amma dai wata uku in dai kudin nan dai kudin halalin ne, ai an ba da lokacin da ya isa mutum ya canza shi. Amma in irin waɗanda ya ce ne an je an gina rami an sa da sauransu, to shi kan shi wanda yake da irin waɗannan kuɗaɗen ba zai so a tambaye shi ba nawa gare shi kuma ya aka ya tara su. Amma dai ni na ɗauka ya yi adalci, wata uku sun isa abin da kake da shi ka same da za a yi ka canza shi.
In the interview to be aired on Wednesday on NowSat, the president also addressed amongst other issues of food and national security. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the Emir of Katsina, Alhaji Abdul Muminu Kabir Usman, after being discharged from the hospital. The president prayed for his continued good health and strength to continue with the good works he's doing in his domain. He thanked the Emir for his steadfast support for the present administration and his relentless advocacy for the well-being of the less privileged. The Emir, in turn, appreciated President Buhari for his support towards his treatment and recovery and wished him a successful completion of his tenure. He pledged the unalloyed support of his people to the president in his efforts to find solutions to the problems militating against the well-being of the nation and her citizens. Now talking security, in continuation of the onslaught against terrorist groups in the northwest, troops of one division, Nigerian Army on Operation Forest Sanity, conducted clearance operation to some local government areas in Kaduna State, during which contact was made with terrorists. In a fierce encounter that followed, 4 bandits were neutralized, forcing others to flee in disarray. The troops recovered 2 AK-47 rifles with 2 rounds of 7.62mm special, 1 automatic pump-action gun with 3 cartridges, 6 Dane guns, 3 locally fabricated pistols with 1 9mm round, and 4 motorcycles in a separate operation conducted by another fighting patrol team of 1 division of Nigerian Army troops along Sabon Birini, Zatake, Nkwan, Lima, Riyawa, and Tuga Madaki general area intercepted fleeing bandits from Kagi Hill. In the firefight that ensued, the troops neutralized 3 terrorists, The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, and the General Officer commanding 1 Division, Nigerian Army and Force Commander, Operation Well Punch, Major General Ta Lagbaja, have commended the troops for their gallantry and urged them not to relent until terrorism and other criminalities are brought to an end in the region. Similarly, troops of 221 Wawa Cantonment in Borgu local government area of Niger State has reportedly repelled and dislodged some terrorists on Sunday evening after failing an earlier attempt on the military base. Correspondent Kabir Abdullahi in New Busa reports that the terrorists, who disguised in Sienna bus and a Golf 3 car, were dislodged at various locations in the area. Items recovered from the vehicles include live cartridges, motorcycles, and other dangerous weapons believed to have been used for the earlier operation. The failed mission of the terrorists was attributed to the swift combined response of the officers and men of 401 Air Combat Training Group, New Busa. Though, as at the time of filing this report, there was no official statement from the military to this effect. However, about 8 of the terrorists were said to have been captured, including their commander. Now, addressing the current security challenges in the country requires collective approach, and not just for the government. To this end, the National Vigilante Group is coordinating its members nationwide to always provide credible information to security agencies. However, the group at its national conference is appealing for the presidential assent to the National Vigilante Group bill to enable it to function effectively. Ismail Musa brings us details.
These groups, emerging from security concerns peculiar with the environments they operate, are not just seeking for recognition, but a defined role in the defense of the Nigerian state, intelligence gathering, local knowledge and willingness to play the supportive role for the success of the Nigerian troops is the spirit behind the call for presidential assent.
We lost virtually 2,000 members, 1,500 in the north and about 500 in the south. You can see some of their widows here. The federal government should come to our aid in that respect. This the National Assembly has been passed. What we are waiting for is the president to assent to the bill. That's what we are pleading to him. Before he leaves office, he should assent to this bill, please.
VGN is there to support the official security apparatus, and they are doing it very, very well. They know the ground, they know the environment, they know the people of their areas, and they can easily fish out criminals. So I think they should be accredited as fast and quickly as possible.
We are aware of the challenges of head office that you are facing. We are equally aware of logistic challenges in terms of vehicles that you are lacking. I want to assure you that we are going to support you fully towards acquiring a headquarters for your organization.
As a selfless combat organization, the 2022 conference is also drawing the attention of the public to support their mission and assist families of fallen heroes to assuage their plights. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And still talking security, the governors of the Southeast region have agreed to set up a joint patrol in all major highways in the zone, especially during the Christmas season. The governors met in Enugu in view of the rising state of insecurity in the Southeast. Susan Eze reports that other matters affecting the zone were also discussed in the meeting.
Resolutions reached by the governors was presented by the chairman of the forum and governor of Ebonyi State, David Omahi. The issue of insecurity in the southeast manifests in the rising cases of kidnapping and wanton killings was top on the agenda as the governors decried the situation.
Southeast governors therefore call on the federal government to come to the aid of the people of Southeast in beefing up security in the zone. Meanwhile, we all agreed definitely and totally to start a joint security patrol in all our major highways in Southeast. And this will commence before December 1st. So we're going to put funds together to purchase vehicles to ensure that we have 24 hours joint patrol of security people in most of our highways. Southeast governors are watching with keen interest the development with respect to the case of Nnamdi Kanu vis-a-vis the correlates. However, we believe that a political solution is still very much possible in this circumstance. And so we ask the federal government that we are disposed as a people for political solution in this regard.
On the issue of flooding, the Southeast governors commended the efforts of the federal government in bringing succor to flood victims, but however hoped that long-term solutions to the problem would be sought. They pleaded with the federal government to initiate action in dredging the rivers in the southeast to ameliorate the destruction of houses, farmlands, and property. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
If you just joined us, you're watching Panorama live on the network service of the NTA. Time for a break. Please stay.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Thank you for staying. Let's now talk politics. The Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization, Afenifere, has expressed confidence in the ability of the APC presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the best candidate to usher in political stability in Nigeria. The leader of the group, Panorama, also prayed for the electoral victory of the APC presidential candidate before he presented his action plan to the group in Akure, Ondo State. Oluwakemi Ademola has details.
On arrival of the Akure resident of the Afenifere leader, Pa Ruben Fashoranti, the All Progressive Congress's presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, received blessings from the octogenarian. After the presentation of his action plan, Bola Tinubu appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for the internal democracy in the All Progressives Congress, which led to his emergence as the presidential candidate of the party.
They supported with people. They didn't move back. That away from today. No one actually. Yes, where would the opposition? Well, the opposition with Muslims that went in the administration. But this one, with the way earlier on today, I will bring the trophy.
Spokesperson of the Afenifere group, Chief Shende Arogbofa, affirmed that it is the turn of Yoruba as president of Nigeria and assured the APC presidential candidate of their support.
There are so many people who are looking upwards to, and we pray that the birthplace be to accomplish a man who has capacity, who has the reach, who has the experience, is competent.
The Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization Afenifere affirmed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best candidate to produce a government that will usher in a new era of hope, peace, security, harmony, economic development, social and political stability.
Meanwhile, as political parties campaign and other activities continue to build up ahead of the 2023 general election, adoption of various strategies in engaging the electorate seem to be on the rise. And the All Progressives Congress support groups, RSG, are now reviewing and propagating their campaign slogan as Operation Deliver Your Polling Unit to All. Salihu Ganara reports.
For this group, now is the time to complement and implement the campaign activities of the APC by coordinating all the registered support groups. Abuja, the nation's capital, played host to the group's coordinators from the North Central Geopolitical Zone for a strategic meeting.
And the idea is that we want to take the battle to the polling unit. Of course, election 2023 is at the polling unit. There are no two ways about it. And that is why our slogan is deliver your polling unit.
You will lose or win at the unit level. And I'm happy that the group is committed to ensuring that they deliver their unit at the various, elections.
In every polling unit, just give us 50 votes. That's just what we are doing. It's the slogan we have adopted and we are working on it.
The influx of more political support groups willing to propagate the progressive political ideology through the Tinubu Shetima candidacy, stakeholders here agreed is an advantage. In Abuja, Salihu Ganara, NTA News.
We head to Borno State now, where the chapter of the People's Democratic Party says it is well repositioned to capture power in the 2023 governorship and other seats in the next election in the state. The party chieftains in the state expressed their confidence at a meeting in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf brings us details.
It's purely a meeting of Borno State PDP leaders, including members of the State Working Committee and the Presidential Campaign Council. Top on the agenda is on how to create a favorable environment in the state for electioneering activities and confronting alleged intimidation of its members.
We are calling on both Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and all law enforcement agencies to take note,
and we expect them to take good steps.
The PDP governorship candidate in the state advocated for equal opportunity for all political parties to carry out their activities ahead of the 2023 election. The meeting promised members' commitment to play according to the rules before, during and after election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And still talking politics, the Atiku Co-Presidential Campaign Organization has assured that the foreign engagement by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, will yield unprecedented investment inflow, revamp the productive sectors, and create massive jobs for the youths if he emerges victorious in the 2023 election. The campaign spokesman, Kola Ologbodiyan, explains that Atiku Abubakar's current visit to the United States, where he is scheduled, among other activities, to engage the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Africa Business Center, will further build policy thrust that will fast-track economic recovery and enhance peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. It adds that Atiku Abubakar's visits are centered on engagement of policy influences in the bid to engender an international collaborative solution to the national challenges, including the economy and security. Atiku Abubakar has also been engaging the Nigerian business community, both at home and in the diaspora, in line with his strategic blueprint to stimulate investment, business, and employment opportunities in critical areas, including infrastructure, manufacturing, industrialization, agriculture, healthcare, telecommunication, housing, power, oil and gas, education, aviation, automobile, among others. Away from the PDP, but still on political parties, the new Nigeria Political People's Party is determined to set a new standard in campaign coordination that will sell the qualities of the presidential candidates to the electorate. At a seminar for leaders at the support groups and campaign committees, the party leadership is sensitizing the youths on best practices to achieve issue-based campaigns. David Irie reports.
The focus of this seminar is to inculcate the party's philosophy of issue-based campaigns into the various support groups who at one time or the other take to the streets to solicit support for the presidential candidate. The party is convinced that the qualities and track records of Rabiu Musa Kwangwaso in governance, security and leadership are all the nation needs to reposition for greatness.
These are our field workers. They are the people who are going to deliver all the messages from national secretariat down the zonal to the state and to the local government to the world level. Therefore, there must be synergy.
Went to the House of Representatives, I became the deputy speaker. He went to the Senate, it was a senator, a two-term governor, an ambassador, somebody who worked in the NDDC. And when he could not stand the corruption in that place, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, he resigned his membership. Then tell me who has better qualification.
By the time they leave here and they go back to their various states, the Konkusia movement, our state liaison officers, and the other support groups will have a common ground to sit together, meet from time to time, and see how they can support, this our campaign.
The Presidential Campaign Council of the party is to be inaugurated soon. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
And away from political issues, a compendium of the General Secretary of the Evangelical Church of West Africa, Reverend Yunusa Madu, has been put together in a book entitled By His Grace Alone. Omenka Marchuku, who covered the book launch in Abuja, reports that the book contains basic information about his life divine calling.
The book, By Grace Alone, has 10 chapters with about 260 pages are carefully captured to reflect on the power of grace in the life of a man who defied social pressure to become a towering figure in the Lord's vineyard.
We are here to celebrate a friend, an associate.
Many of his experience in life, as even becoming a Christian, and all the years he stayed and waited for the fruit of the womb, he would definitely put it down.
It's a story, and an event that leads us in the direction of God Almighty.
It's a testimony of faith, really, and the power of God to just bring us to places where we'd never imagine ourselves to be.
Author of the book, Pastor Peter Sabo, and the book reviewer, Professor William Squarix, described the book as a pillar of testimony of Reverend Mado with a guide on how grace works.
Vitally lessons of total reliance on God, lessons of humility, lessons of dedication and commitment to one's purpose, and
changing us to identify what God is doing for us and then to see if it matches our testimonies.
Itself has been a great example to us, and not only from what is written, but his lifestyle.
We have come to unveil and look introspect the life of a Nigerian who is anchored by faith.
It's a real life testimony, and the title of the book captures it.
For Reverend Yunusa Madu and wife, the book teaches on how grace can transform a man, equip and enable him to impart on the society.
The experiences I've had in life, including having to wait for 25 years after marriage before welcoming our first babies. And so I thought that putting this together will help people who are in the same situation to be encouraged that God will always come through.
Easy. It's difficult to wait, but it's worth waiting. The Lord is never late. It's not too early. He's right on time, like a songwriter will say.
The book will serve as a reference material and a guide for spiritual guidance and upliftment. In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
And just to quickly fill you in on the emergency security meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari, the nation's security agencies have said there is no cause for alarm and urge Nigerians to go about their lawful businesses without fear of any kind. Foreign partners are also advised not to work at cross purposes by creating unnecessary panic in the country.
Also indicate that, as mentioned by the National Security Advisor, to use the opportunity to assure Nigerians that the armed forces, the police, and the agencies are working on the clock. That lives and properties of Nigerians are protected. And so far, there's no cause for alarm, and Nigerians should go about their normal duties, as the armed forces and all the security agencies are well poised to protect them accordingly. Perhaps to use this opportunity to mention that I'm sure some of you may have seen in the media or amongst you that on the night of 29th October 2022, Wawa cantonment in Niger State was attacked. And of course, the alertness of the troops led to the neutralization of the attackers, and their vehicles that were laden with IED and other items were impounded, and 5 of those attackers were equally arrested. Just to let you know, to use that to let you know of the level of alertness of members of the armed forces, the police, and other security agencies. Thank you.
And that's the message after an emergency meeting called by President Muhammadu Buhari with security chiefs and the police, which focused on the current state of security in the country. We shall bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletins. And that's it for Panorama this Monday. Many thanks for watching. I'm Henry John. Do stay tuned to the NTA.
Thank you.